Aloha, Mike the Gaming Road Warrior here. Today, back in 2010, Rockstar struck gold with Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare by reviving a dead franchise and overhauling it to combine the awesome open world mechanics of Grand Theft Auto with the charm and visuals of the Old West. They created something that really struck a chord with people. The game sold 8 million copies after just 9 months on the market. That's awesome and all, and I love Red Dead Redemption, but this video isn't about John Marston's first adventure. It's about the standalone expansion to it. A game that takes a common concept, flips it on its head, and drops it in an unfamiliar setting to create a one-of-a-kind experience. A game about zombies. This is a retrospective of Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, Rockstar Games' coolest and most ambitious DLC. So grab your rifle and revolver, and let's hit the gaming wasteland. Red Dead Redemption was released in May 2010. While some people were able to blast through the 20 or so hours of gameplay within a few days, others spent weeks or even months roaming the 31 square kilometer map of the Wild West. Personally, most of my summer that year was spent doing side missions with no regard to finishing the story. I really need to finish this game, but these open world games like these are just so fun to explore. By the time the weather began to cool off and fall settled in, Rockstar was ready to drop something new on us. Something spooky. You see, Rockstar Games had been wanting to make a zombie game for a while by that point. They reportedly had an open-world zombie game set in Scotland in early development sometime in 2002, shortly after Vice City came out. Unfortunately, that project was cancelled because the team thought it was too depressing, about a month into working on it. Geez, imagine if Naughty Dog had thought the same thing. We would have never gotten The Last of Us. That open-world zombie video game concept sat on the back burner for 8 years, until Rockstar saw an opportunity. Rather than create an entirely new franchise, they could explore how a zombie outbreak would affect a world they had already created, a world that lends itself to the image of rotting corpses shambling through the American countryside. Red Dead was perfect for zombies, and Rockstar's creative director at the time, Dan Houser, gave a few reasons why they ultimately chose their Western franchise over their much more modern GTA universe. The shooting mechanics and Deadeye slow motion system made sense for popping zombie heads. Zombies lumbering through the Great Plains is a visual that fits the 1970s horror look they were interested in. It would make more sense for John Marston to hunt zombies than for any of the GTA protagonists up to that point. Nico Bellic, CJ, and Tommy Vercetti would probably not want to get involved with The Walking Dead. If, for some reason, you haven't played this gem of a game, here is the basic setup. Undead Nightmare is a side story that takes place within the narrative of the main game, but is obviously not connected or canon in any way. It begins after John Marston returns to Beecher's Hope to be with his family, Abigail, Jack, and Uncle, who aren't actually related to John. He's just a friend with a weird nickname. Anyway, things take a turn for the creepy on a stormy night. Uncle doesn't seem to be around anywhere, so the Marstons all go to bed, thinking he found somewhere else to stay. Then all hell breaks loose when Uncle shows up to the house as a zombie and bites Abigail, who then bites Jack, leaving everyone except John in a brain-eating zombified state. John kills Uncle, but he can't bring himself to kill his wife or son. So instead, he ties them up to search for a cure, and that's where the gameplay really gets started.
I'm your huckleberry.
From that point on, Undead Nightmare plays quite a lot like the main game. You have an open world you can freely explore, points of interest, and side quests spread across the map, and a main mission path you can choose to follow or ignore. Rockstar's open world formula has served them very well for the past few decades, and that means playing Undead Nightmare just feels like home in many ways. Although it might feel familiar in its structure and presentation, this game mixes in so much crazy, outlandish content that it easily makes it the craziest thing Rockstar has ever made. And that's saying something, considering this is the company that made Manhunt and Bully. For instance, how many games can you find Bigfoot? A callback to the infamous San Andreas myth. Chupacabras, a unicorn, and the 4 horses of the apocalypse. Separately? Not very many. All in one game at the same time? There is literally only one game, Undead Nightmare. When I played Undead Nightmare all those years ago, it felt like I was discovering some new crazy, supernatural thing every hour or so. It really pushed me to keep playing and explore the world that was so familiar, but at the same time very different from what I had come to expect from the main game. Did I do all of that exploring on the back of a decaying zombie horse? Yes, you bet I did, and it was awesome. Undead Nightmare came out 14 years ago, almost a decade and a half. That's a very long time for anything, let alone video games. One of the core elements of a good video game is meeting the NPCs. The first character I enjoyed meeting was Landon Ricketts in Mexico. Landon is supposed to be a distinguished gunfighter. You see him here helping people in what seems to be a brothel. It's now a zombie brothel in which these ladies are literally man-eaters. Landon is sort of the town protector. He makes zombie boom bait for you if you get him some undead bait and dynamite.
Wonderful.
Another interesting character is meeting Mother Superior Calderon in Mexico as well. She is seen defending herself from the undead with a repeater rifle when you meet her. I really want to know what she was before she turned into a nun. She can definitely handle herself with a rifle compared to the other nuns who are not willing to kill the undead. After you help her and the other nuns out, you and her talk about what could be causing the undead to rise. She informs you to bring a recently turned undead, and she can do more to see what is going on. Getting her the zombie, she immediately pours the holy water on it and it begins to turn back to normal. It doesn't last long though, and it becomes a zombie again. Mother Superior informs you to go to Sepulchro and cleanse the graveyard. After completing this mission, you are sent back to meet Mother Superior Calderon. She informs you to see Abraham Reyes, and a woman who visited with the Mother Superior said this is the man who caused the undead to rise. So lastly, you travel to Escalera to deal with the problem. I don't want to go into what happens here or the ending. Hopefully, you'll get to play the DLC in this game, unless you did already. With all that being said, is Undead Nightmare worth revisiting in 2024? Well, I would say yes. I would say the game that comes closest to Undead Nightmare is Days Gone. But even that doesn't have the unique Old West setting that makes Undead Nightmare special. Also, Days Gone ends on a crazy cliffhanger that will probably never be resolved since Sony doesn't seem interested in making a sequel, but that's a topic for another video. Therefore, at the end of the day, yes, Undead Nightmare is worth playing in the modern day. However, you can get your hands on it. I have a retrospective video on Ninja Gaiden for the NES coming up, written by me. I will be covering a modern game also after Ninja Gaiden. I've decided that I want to cover modern games again along with the retro games. Did you play Undead Nightmare, Red Dead Redemption? And if so, what were your favorite gaming memories about it? I'm glad I got to finally beat the game and see things from a zombie's perspective. See you next time, fellow gaming road warriors, and remember, gaming is your road to adventure. Take care.